Piyush, I just sent you an updated version of my deck.
Yeah, he's there. Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Sir, we have IT Secretary from Arunachal, Anirudh Singh ji.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, Anirudh.
Good afternoon, sir.
I introduced him because he wanted to connect to you on our other issues. So good to know him. He's here, sir. And we are doing that. So rest of the, I think, introductions you can do formally.
Sure. Sure. Thank you.
So, shall we get started? We have almost 130 participants who have already joined us, and I see more. I see the participant count increasing every second, so to say. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Electronic Sector Skill Council and STPI webinar on taking a drone into a future full of opportunities, a northeastern view. Um, from the Electronic Sector Skill Council of India, we are very privileged and honored to be able to partner with STPI on this extremely critical initiative on a very exciting new technology. And we have an extremely eminent set of panelists, experts, practitioners, industry leaders, policymakers, joining us in this panel discussion today. Um, I always say this before I get into the formal part of the webinar to all the participants, particularly to the young participants, that the benefit comes if you can ask questions from such a eminent, august gathering of experts here. So please use the Q&A box to send in your questions. We have people at the back end who are moderating this, and the panelists will be very happy to take your questions as soon as the formal presentations, etc., are over. With that, let me once again welcome you all. And before I get started, let me try and set context both about the Electronic Sector Skill Council of India and why we think this area of drones is so important for India. So I'm just sharing my screen. Are my slides visible?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll very quickly introduce the Electronic Sector Skills Council of India. We are uh, formed to, as we say, bridge the skill gap. We are formed by 7 industry associations in the hardware sector. There is the Electronic Component Industries Association, which represents the component sector. There is the Manufacturers Association of IT, which is the leader and represents the PC industry largely, but also other systems companies. There is the India Electronics and Semiconductor Association, which has at its core the interests of the semiconductor and embedded industry, but also looks at the systems industry. CMA, which is the Consumer Electronics Appliance Manufacturers Association, LEDMA, which represents the LED industry, the Indian Printed Circuit Board Association, and ELCOMA, which represents the solar industry. The way the Electronic Sector Skill Council of India operates, we are active in 9 subsectors of the electronics industry. We work very closely with industry to create what are called uh, uh, qualification packs, which are developed. So we take each functional requirement in the industry, create what is called a job role. We define it very tightly and then build both training material as well as train the trainer packages. We create question banks from which assessments can be done, and then we do the certification of these people. Um, we work very closely with industry, as I mentioned. This is a list of a very small list of some of the major companies that we work with. And obviously, in the business we are in the kind of industry we are in, which is extremely knowledge heavy, there are multiple knowledge partners that we also work with. We have a pan-India presence. So till date, in the 8 years that the Sector Skill Council has been in existence, we've trained 1.2 million youth. We've placed about 600,000 of them in jobs. Another 200,000 have been given micro entrepreneurship opportunities and they've started their own businesses. We are present across 29 states and 7 union territories, and we have a footprint of over 4,000 training centers. To deliver this training, we partner with approximately 260 education entrepreneurs whom we call training partners. And they run multiple training centers across the country. We have over 200 subject matter experts from industry who help us to develop the curriculum. And this is, the training is administered by over 7,000 trainers who have to be certified by the Electronic Sector Skill Council in order to carry out the training. Now, parallel to the whole training ecosystem, we have a parallel assessment and certification ecosystem, and we have approximately 3,300 assessors. Again, they have to be trained and certified by the Sector Skill Council. 13 centers of excellence across India, which focus on specific technologies. And 5 of our qualification packs are internationally accepted. And we have done skilling across the Middle East and some of the other geographies. Now, this webinar today is about drones. And as you can see, this is just a very small snapshot of the various applications there are in areas as diverse as agriculture, mining, infrastructure, energy and utilities, insurance, media and entertainment. And let me assure you, this is just a very small snapshot. There are many, many more applications. And there are experts on the panel who can talk more, but I would venture to make a brave statement that the applications of drones are only limited by the imagination of the drone user. I'm sure even as we talk, there are more and more new applications being envisaged. Medical is just one of them. In the pre-discussion, there was reference to a very exciting new application that is possible in current times, but I will leave the experts to talk about that. From a market overview, this is a very large and growing market. As per a report by Markets and Markets, this is a pretty large market, expected to reach $63 billion by 2025, growing very rapidly at a close to 60% compounded annual growth rate. In India also, this is already close to being a $20 million market and growing at almost 10%. So as you can imagine, the applications are growing. The need for people who are skilled, trained, certified in use of drones, maintenance of drones, and in terms of people who can think up of applications using drones is literally exploding. And Asia Pacific is certainly the segment which is growing the fastest. And this is, no doubt driven by the fact that there are multiple industries and multiple sectors which are using drones to grow. As I mentioned, I'm keeping this very, very short. As far as drones are concerned, we work with multiple stakeholders. And this is just a small snapshot of all the stakeholders that we work with. So I'm very conscious of time, and I don't want to take too much airtime here because we have a very packed agenda. So more information on ESSC, please visit our website, essciindia.org. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take, it is my very proud privilege and honor to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Omkar Rai, the Director General of the Software Technology Parks of India. Dr. Omkar Rai has literally seen the transformation of STPI. Some of us have been privileged to know him over the years, and we have been inspired by the vision he brings to STPI. Um, Very quickly, Dr. Omkar Rai is Director General Software Technology Parks of India, which is the premier government organization working for the promotion of the IT, ITES, and electronic system design and manufacturing industry in India. Dr. Rai has contributed immensely in repositioning STPI with a focus on innovation and dispersal of IT ESDM beyond the metros. He brings over 25 years of experience in the IT ESDM sector, having a unique distinction of having worked very closely with government and with industry. That part, sir, I can vouch for from personal experience, having been inspired by your vision and your leadership. He has been instrumental in formulating an appropriate interface between industry, academia, and specifically the IT and the ESDM industry. He's working for formulation of incubation programs to promote entrepreneurship, innovation, and product creation in the country. Prior to joining STPI, Dr. Omkar Rai served the National Informatics Center, NIC, in various capacities. He serves as the chairman, AIC STPI Next Initiative, and is a director of the board of directors of MTNL, STPI IT Services Limited, National Internet Exchange of India, NIXI, and the HARTRON, which is the Haryana State Electronics Development Corporation Limited. He's a member of the governing body of the School of Open Learning, Delhi University, and also a member of the Board of Governors for the International Institute of Information Technology University in Bhubaneswar. He's a member of the Vision Group Advisory Group for the Electronics and IT Department, Government of Odisha, and also a member of the IT Advisory Committee constituted to assist the Government of Maharashtra. Dr. Omkar Rai has been educated in Banaras Hindu University, where he has earned his bachelor's, master's, and PhD in statistics. Dr. Rai, it's a privilege and an honor to welcome you, and I hand over the floor to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. PVG Menon. The dignitaries on the dais, Director, Secretary, Department of IT, Government of Arunachal Pradesh, my colleague Sri P.K. Das, of course PVG Menon, who has recently resurfaced in some great form. Lieutenant Commodore John Livingstone, Sri Anand Prakash, Jay Barua, Gopi Krishna, Santhanam, Neeta Trivedi, other participants. It's my proud privilege to be here, and I must congratulate STPI Guwahati, which oversees the entire STPI's functioning in West Bengal and Northeast, and the Electronic Sector Skills Council of India. And it's a collaboration with various state government. I'm very glad that we are organizing this webinar. And this webinar is happening uh, in the backdrop of the kind of initiatives that the Ministry of Electronics and IT, the Software Technology Parks of India, and other stakeholders from Northeast from this region have taken together, which was documented and resolved in the vision document for Northeast Digital Vision 2022. We all know that the Government of India, Ministry of Electronics and IT, under the able leadership of Sri Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, in year 2018 itself came up with this vision. And this vision actually mandated all the stakeholders to take certain initiatives, several initiatives, to make sure that the Northeast sector of this nation is brought on the same page, not only brought on the same page, but we could explore, capitalize, and see how we can make sure that the young boys and girls of this region could unleash their creativity and imagination, their and could come up with the ideas and product creation in the every sector. Keeping that in view, STPI decided to launch a program, we call it Octane. Under this Octane program, we wanted to create a center of excellence, essentially incubator, in each and every state of Northeast. We know that we have already launched 3 such centers of excellence, one in Guwahati, another in for Shillong, and third is for Imphal. And these centers of excellence which we have launched, and we plan to launch another 5 centers of excellence, are in emerging technologies like in Internet of Things in agriculture, animation, emerging technologies like immersive technologies like augmented reality, virtual reality, IT application in graphical design, gaming, data analytics, IT application in healthcare and agri-tech, and GIS application, including drone technologies. And I'm very glad that for establishing a center of excellence around drone technologies, around GIS application, was for the location Itanagar and Arunachal Pradesh. And I'm very glad that the Secretary DIT Arunachal is also here for the same reason. I'm very glad that this collaboration between Electronic Sector Skills Council of India, the Indian Institute of Drones, the respective state governments, software technology parks of India, they all have come together. And this is the kind of background work that is happening right now. We have already taken several initiatives, but I must like to underline that the Center of Excellence, which STPI is launching and is formulating for rest of the states, are all in collaborative framework. We are roping in industry leaders to lead and give much needed leadership to the Center of Excellence. And we are trying to, have the pool of mentors from the industry itself, provide access to the mentors, world-class uh, exposure, then the incentives, facilities that we offer. We know that we have financial incentives too for the people who get selected under this program. And I'm very glad that for these 3 centers of excellence, we had already launched a screening process, and we received about 86 applications. And very recently, we have already screened in about 12 startups, which will be, housed in our Center of Excellence in Guwahati, Shillong, and Imphal. Very soon, we will also add 5 new Center of Excellence, and one will be around this drone technology about which we are today brainstorming. This collaboration, this hand-holding will go on, and we will create a very tacit, understanding, a collaboration, cooperation among the stakeholders, and we will establish world-class Center of Excellence around this technology in Itanagar. And this Center of Excellence would be actually well equipped, would give access to anything and everything that is required to young boys and girls for converting their ideas into product. I'm very sure that the digital Northeast Vision 2022, which will be evaluated in year 2022 and even after that, will reveal that the initiative that STPI took together with the other stakeholders have been able to, deliver the mandated outcomes, mandated results. We will do everything possible to make sure that we implement these initiatives, these mandates in very, very professional manner. And I must assure for that, I must again thank Electronic Sector Skills Council of India, the government of Arunachal Pradesh, and other stakeholders who are also present on this dais for this wonderful collaboration and initiative. Thank you very much.
Piyush, will you take over from here? Piyush, you're on mute.
Yeah. Thank you, PVG. Let me have the honor and privilege to introduce Mr. P.K. Das. Mr. Praveer Kumar Das is working as Scientist G and Jurisdictional Director in Northeast and West Bengal of Software Technology Park of India, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. Also worked as Jurisdictional Director, STPI for Bangalore, Bhubaneswar, Patna, and Ranchi. Worked as Superintendent of Police and Managing Director of Assam State Electronics Development Corporation in Assam. Has experience of mentoring 500 plus startups, entrepreneurs, and working with 2000 plus ITS export companies. Mr. P.K. Das, please throw some light on this drone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, respected dignitaries on the dais, this is a great opportunity to share my views with all of you experts and authorities in different domains. As already PVG has mentioned that the global drone market is continuously expanding, and it is getting into the level of $63 billion expected to be in that kind of a dimension. And the growth rate is huge. It's about 56%. That's what he's saying, which probably is something more than the usual growth rate of software technology long back. So with this kind of situation, our country is also not lagging behind. And it is expected that by 2025, probably India will be the third largest drone market in the world. So this means that there is an immense potential for the growth of drone technology in the country in the years to come. The usage of UAVs is only going to increase as the technology itself gets more advanced, as well as accessible to the average consumers. So the capability of drones have also been augmented by different technologies, by incorporation of things like AI, air, and IoT. Top 5 sectors that has been recognized by drone technology in the near future are like, which has huge potential, are like agriculture, disaster management, surveillance, e-commerce, and healthcare. So practically, Northeast, therefore, offers a wide canvas for startups to develop products and services related to drone application. Because Northeast having varieties of problems that can be solved through the use of drone entrepreneurship, we'll have huge opportunity for prototyping their solutions with local problems. And then after that, they can scale up to the national and global markets. So with these possibilities in mind, as Dr. Rai has mentioned, STPI had gone ahead with setting up the COE in Itanagar, focusing in application areas like GIS and drone. He has also mentioned that it is not the only COE. In fact, there is a chain kind of bouquet of 8 inter-network center of excellences proposed for Northeast, and already 3 has been rolled out in the form of Octane. Octane again signifies Octane. Octa means 8 states we have in 8 locations of the Northeast. That's what Octane means. So all these locations practically will be interconnected in the sense that they help each other. The entities are not standalone. I mean, the domains have been selected in such a way that they can help each other, one location to the other. And even the entrepreneurs, when working in one particular COE in a particular location, say for example, working in data analytics, in data science related issues in Agartala, will be contributing tremendously towards the COE in Itanagar, who will be generating data through drones. So it's very much connected. Like AR, VR, we are focusing in Itanagar, but AR, VR is a huge technology enabler for drone. So that's how things are very much connected. Similarly, IoT, agriculture again needs a lot of drone applications. So these are very much well thought out domains as part of the Octane initiatives. So primarily the Octane has kept the objectives of practically creating a robust ecosystem and incubate a considerable number of startups. Presently, within the existing scheme, about 164 has been targeted. 164 startup companies will be developed. Then to facilitate e-commerce activities, there is a very beautiful part of the Octane scheme that each of these locations will have e-commerce enabling facility, which will not only be for the users of the COE, but also for anybody in the Northeast. Like there are so many business opportunities, there are so many market access capabilities of the Northeastern growers and developers, producers, but they fail to reach to the existing digital market. So each of these COEs will also have a part which will help even a paddy grower or a weaver or somebody to migrate to e-commerce mode. Similarly, the most important aspect of Octane is the innovation zone. Each of these locations will also have a dedicated innovation zone where efforts will be to tinker the minds, the young minds, and also the minds who are not exactly in the domain as of today, working in some other domain, but has an ability and interest to work in the domain of IT or electronics or softwares. So it might be a mechanical engineer who wants to develop certain things in IT. So these kind of intermixing of creative, innovative minds will be promoted in the innovation zone. And the best part of the innovation zone would be, it is again not standalone. It is existing with one center of excellence where the startups are actually attempting to solve real problems. So what is expected to happen is that the startups may get solutions even in the innovation zone from some very very unconventional solution provider. Similarly, the ideas that will be generated in the innovation zone can have a taker in the form of a startup company in that excellent center of excellence, as the center of excellences will be hugely connected with other enabling things like mentoring, funding, and things like that. So practically the innovation zone will get an access to those facilities in an indirect way. So that's how basically the Octane is a very beautiful and unprecedented kind of a concept that STPI under the leadership of Dr. Rai has generated only for the Northeast. It's a bouquet of services. It's a honeycomb of services with 3 different aspects bringing together for a real upliftment of the Northeastern locations. So the targeted beneficiaries that we have are definitely the startups working in the field, the respective field. Then the students and professionals, as I said, in the field of IT or any other domain. And then the beneficiaries definitely would be the governments, the central governments, the state governments, the private bodies, PSUs and other entities, because these center of excellences will try to solve the problem they are facing. So these will be the solution providers for their problems. Dr. Rai has already mentioned the domains. We are going to have IoT in agriculture in Guwahati, animation in Shillong, emerging technologies AR/VR in Imphal, gaming in Aizawl, IT in healthcare in Gangtok, graphics designing in Kohima, GIS and drone technology in Itanagar, and then data analytics in Agartala. The scheme has a lot of inclusions. It includes physical lab facility in each of these locations of the COE. A very state-of-the-art lab facility will be created so that the startups get all the technologies in the form of hardwares and softwares to go ahead with with realizing their dreams, realizing their concepts, ideas, and converting it into prototypes. These labs will have prototype testing facilities. So they don't have to go to Bangalore or Noida to do their testing. The most important factor, again, Dr. Rai had just mentioned about it, that the funding. This is the first scheme that STPI is launching for providing direct funding. For each of the selected startups, we have about up to the extent of 25 lakhs of support in 3 different slabs. For proof of concept, we will go up to 5 lakhs, for prototyping, another 15 lakhs, and then for marketing support, another 5 lakhs. These definitely will be milestone based, but they can achieve up to that point. Then inclusions will also have technology, business mentoring, all kind of marketing mentoring. And again, DZ STPI has just mentioned that we are not keeping the mentoring at a substandard level. We are bringing in the best in the industry to mentor. For example, when we are talking about Itanagar, we have Ankit Mehta, the CEO of Idea Force, as the chief mentor. He has already been appointed by DZ STPI as the chief mentor with his consent. So we are reaching to those kind of people.
Sorry, excuse me, Mr. Das, if you can little shorten it up.
Yeah, sure. I will quickly finish it up. So these are the inclusions up to the extent of IPR support, even minor supports like administrative, legal, financial supports, all those things. And anybody can apply for these. We are not restricting the application process to only companies. We are saying anybody can apply. Only thing is that once they are selected within a certain period, they have to convert themselves to a company for other formalities, which has to be done with the entity. So exit also, we are allowing maximum time to up to an extent of 3 years. So 6 months for gestation, like formative stage, 12 months to 24 months for validation, and then about another 6 months for test and marketing. Selection process, it has been mentioned that we have gone through the first round and the first cohort is already in place. Mentors, I mentioned, we have very classic mentors. Our partners are the best of the institutions, academic institutions, industry, and government. Like in Arunachal, we have already partnered with NERIST, then STPI, then NIT. So we have partnered with these entities. So the need of the hour is to define the problem statements by the stakeholders and identify entrepreneurs to develop those solutions for those problems. So Octane will not only do the matchmaking for that, but also will enable such problem solving efforts of the startups. I'm sure that the experts will throw light on the needs to be fulfilled for making the vision of Honorable Prime Minister of taking Northeast on par as a destination for innovative technology solutions. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Das. Basically, you have talked nicely about the project Octane. Now I'll request my second keynote speaker, Lieutenant Commander John Livingstone. Lieutenant Commander John Livingstone is also founder, CEO, and product architect of Jonet Technologies Private Limited. After working as a UAV unmanned aerial vehicle external pilot in the Indian Navy, he ventured into the business world with more than a decade's experience in unmanned system, both in military operation and civilian applications. He is also the first Indian naval officer to get first merit award at UAV Tetra School, Indian Air Force in 2007. Mr. John Livingstone, please.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to keep a timer. How much time do you have to speak?
It is 6 to 7 minutes.
Okay, 6 minutes is what I'll keep. Okay. All right, good afternoon, everybody. And I'm sure across the country, I can see about 292 people are listening to what I'm speaking right now. Just to tell about drones and what is going to happen in the future and what has happened in the past in the drone industry, plus the skill industry also with respect to the drone pilot training and a lot of things which are happening. Well, I've been flying the military drones in the Navy. I was flying, sorry. I left Indian Navy about 6 years back, and until then I was flying Indian Armed Forces drones, which we acquired from Israel. And to my surprise, I must say in the last 10 years, drones have really exploded the market, especially in the commercial applications. Though drones are not very new at all to the military, drones are in our armed forces since 1995. And they've been kept quiet for a very long time, and they still keep quiet because it's military, and the military applications are quite different compared to what we generally discuss. Commercial drones have really seen humongous growth, I should say, since 2012, 13. Speaking about the drone technology, we have personally experienced the change in technology almost every 9 to 10 months across the globe. So we as manufacturers and drone pilot trainers, we need to keep abreast about the change and development in the drone technology. And we keep updating to our students, to us, everything. So that's been happening for the last 6, 7 years with us. So coming to the Northeast perspective and the usage of drones over there, there's a huge requirement, I must say, in the Northeastern region for the drone operations. Since the technology is a little complex to make drones, most of the operators have been importing, I should say 80 to 90% from China, and then some European and then American drones. Making a drone has been pretty much difficult for the Indian origin. So we tried our best to make some drones. I would like to just show in a few seconds. This is the drone that we have made. It's called JR6. This is capable of flying up to 30-35 minutes and will be able to carry a payload of up to 1 kg. And for the Northeast region, we recently delivered to one of our customers in the defense. They're flying this kind of fixed wing drone. This is capable of going up to 15 kilometers and come back another 15 kilometers. Total flight distance of about 30 kilometers in a flight time of about 1 hour. Now, that is the drone which we are looking at using in the Northeast region for delivering emergency medical supplies. That includes the COVID vaccine now, which we have been contemplating very recently. So we have been, in fact, I would like to say thanks to the organizers, especially the Assam Skill Development Mission, who had invited me to talk about these things. Also, we are opening a center in Guwahati. Our training center is being opened in Guwahati. You can see IID, Indian Institute of Drones, is our training wing of the parent company, Jonet Technologies. We have been training drone pilots for the last 4 years, and we've trained about 2,200 drone pilots in the last 4 years across Asia. Presently, we have 13 centers in India. That includes Guwahati. We are also opening a few more in Northeastern region to meet the requirements of training and the drone operations. So talking about the drone skill, from this skill development perspective, we would like to collaborate in terms of giving skill training for drone operations in Northeast through our franchisees in Guwahati and other regions in Northeast. And we will definitely be able to train as much as we can. And most importantly, we don't have to be dependent on the Chinese drones anymore, because there are a lot of Indian origin drones available right now, including ours, at a similar price, but may not be of the highest quality what the imported drones are giving. Yes, but we will be reaching up to that standards in a couple of years or so with our R&D, which is getting really geared up in the last 1 year. Especially the pandemic has helped a lot of drone startups to settle and do more R&D within their labs. This is my perspective, and we are open for any collaborations, and if you have any questions, I'm available to answer. I have finished 5 minutes. That's it. Thank you. Piyush, you are muted.
Yeah, thank you very much, John Livingstone. In fact, it was really nice to see the drones you are manufacturing, and plus your views on the drone trading, drone scaling. I can only say that we will definitely would love to work with you, because we are part of Sector Skill Council, Electronic Sector Skill Council, and in our in our QP we have got QPs on drone too. So I will definitely, after this, we will have a talk on this.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Now, I think we will start our panel discussion. But before starting the panel discussion, we'll have a short commercial break for 1 minute. So over to you, Isha.
I'm handing over to Mr. Ramesh, who is going to speak about the product. Just a minute.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and wishing you all a very happy New Year. Sorry, I was about to join from my login, and suddenly the system cut off, so I had to join through Dr. Gopi's window. Apologies for that. So Ascentia as a company, which is predominantly focusing on Industry 4.0 solutions, but having said that, the primary focus at this moment is to come up with a holistic ecosystem-based solution for the farmers, and that's why we created our solution called FormX. And I'd like to quickly walk you through a specific solution. Just give me a second. So you can. I think you can. Not the presentation. So just give me a second. Isha, I think you need to change the presentation, the other one which was sent, which has been sent.
You have to change the presentation which I shared.
Yeah. Just give me a second. I'm gonna share it from my window. So Isha, you can you don't have to present it. So that would be easier that way.
Continue.
Just give me a second.
PDF or
Isha, FormX presentation has been sent to you. Can you open that, please? Yeah, please, yeah. So as the presentation would come up, I'd like to quickly talk about the FormX. So as I told you, the FormX is something that has been built as a solution for the entire ecosystem for agriculture. So this includes different stakeholders, starting from farmers, whether it's small or large farmers, or the lenders. It includes the banks, which is funding the farmers, the insurance companies, which are providing the farmers insurance, the various service providers and farm item supplies, which includes manures or the pesticides and other farming chemicals. Apart from this, the key stakeholders include government and the various nodal agencies. So what we have tried to do is come up with multi-fold solution, starting from a very basic one, where farmers can get insights about various crops that they are producing in their farms. We have over 230 key plant related information that has been that when all these information are pretty much put like a wiki inside our product, and the farmers can get the complete insight about it, and they will also be able to get insights about the weather condition, what is the most suited crop for the season, considering the basic input they would have provided, including about their soil details and region details and so on. So in addition to that, if they are interested in doing a little more precision farming, then we can provide them details by sharing the satellite information, the aerial views that's being captured about the products and various other things. And if they want to go for more of a commercial and also more of a precision approach, then we even provide them with Internet of IoT based solution, which constantly monitors the soil condition, the weather condition, including the humidity, sunlight, everything, and then suggest what exactly the farmer need to do in terms of the subsequent action. Isha, can you move on to the next slide, please? I'd like to quickly, I've already spoken about the company, but quickly to touch upon the vision and mission. So we want to focus purely on the R&D side. Whatever we want to do, we want to make a quick impact in the industry. And the mission is to go in terms of helping various industries in terms of saving money or improving efficiency or whatever. Isha, you can go to the next slide, please. So in the interest of time, I'm just going quick. I'm just moving fast. Please bear with me. Please do stop me if you want any clarification or something at any given point. Isha, probably you can go to the next one. So we started with the foundational values. So we focus on continuous quality delivery, and we are also building a very strong partnership ecosystem. When you talk about continuous focus on quality, so that's how we got our ISO certification in the first year itself. And as far as partner ecosystem is concerned, we have the Microsoft and Salesforce kind of global leading ISPs as our partners. And then we are extremely people-centric, and then we have set up the complete process in place with best-in-class internal systems. Next one, Isha, please. So we have achieved, within these 2 years, we have achieved quite a bit of milestone, and very happy, and thanks to ESSCI that we have partnered with them as well. And next slide, Isha. So this is the ecosystem I'd like to talk about. Basically, this is a AI driven and sensor data driven and large data pool driven ecosystem, and it's an intelligent system driven by AI, as I told you. So depending on the need of the farmers, depending on need of the stakeholders. For example, typically what happens is if you go to a region, in one region, one farmer would sow potato, right? And there are a couple of other guys who would go and put brinjal. And, it's like, for farmers typically follow a pattern where if one guy puts something, then the rest of the guys would, without applying their mind, they go and put this thing. And then in the next season, when the harvest happens, they won't get a good price. So we also want to help with fine balancing of this one. Also, if you look at it, there are crops which has a 3 months life cycle or 4 months life cycle. Let's say you are sowing something during the month of August or September, right? September, October, November, December. Let's say December becomes a rainy season, and if this year a flood is predicted, then there is a possibility that you might incur loss. And this is not only for farmers, but also for the lending agencies and insurance companies. So what they can do is they can advise the farmers that, hey, instead of going for a 4 months crop, how about going for 3 months crop? So that kind of an intelligent information can be provided by our platform, and that is beneficial for farmers, also for insurers, as well as for lenders. And there are 4 key modules in this solution. One is FormX CBR, which is for cultivation. And then FormX RNI, you can see, which is related to resource planning. Again, I have clearly, on the right side, I have indicated about the beneficiaries, all the stakeholders I was referring to. And
Mr. Ramesh, can you do it faster, because we thought it will be 2 minutes. Yeah. So
okay, so no, just 2 more slides. So again, 2 more modules we have, which is FormX BMS, which is for business management solutions for the guys who are procuring the products from farmers or entering into a corporate farming. And FormX CPL is for compliance and traceability for the entire produce that's being given. Yeah, next, Isha. So there are different values which I have mentioned about. We will quickly skim through the slides, just hardly another 60 seconds. So for farmers, what is in it, or individual farmers or the farming companies, that's what mentioned here. Next one, Isha. Yeah. Similarly, you also have seed producers. So their requirements are a little bit different, and we are ensuring that the quality, how the quality of the seed can be constantly improved or maintained. That's what it is. Next one, Isha, please. Specific to agri input companies or the agri suppliers, right? In terms of whether you talk about manures or any of the chemicals like fertilizers or pesticides. So it is something for them. Next. This is again for lenders. Similar thing is there for insurance companies and various other stakeholders. So with this, I'd like to conclude my presentation. Thanks for the time, but what I will also do is we'll try to share this information after the session through SSCI. And if any of you folks want to have any further conversation, or any of you would like to get any clarification, you can reach out to us in the based on the contact details that is given in this presentation. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much. In fact, now we'll start our panel discussion. But before that, I was told that a lot of students, they logged in from schools and colleges. Very, very warm welcome to them. In fact, we are really happy that they are logging from the schools, from the colleges. They are sitting in the college and logging in and to listening to all these things. Let's have a clap on this. It is really great that they are basically listening to the panel discussion. Thank you very much. In fact, I'll start talking on drones. This is the UAV, or unmanned aerial vehicle, have been used for warfare since long. But recent avatar of the UAV is the drone, which is an all-pervasive and have won the imagination of innovators to put it to varied use, from entertainment to security, from logistics to agriculture, and many more innovative applications being explored and developed. Drones now have many functions, ranging from monitoring climate changes to carry out search operation after natural disasters, photography, filming, and delivering goods. In fact, we have got an impressive lineup of eminent panelists having deep insights into the drone ecosystem. And it is my pleasure to introduce them to the House, and will request each one of them to throw light on the drone and its application in various fields. We start with the panelist, Mr. Agnishwar Jaiprakash. He is an alumni of Harvard Business School. He is the founder and managing director of Garuda Aerospace Private Limited. DAS, this is the term I am hearing it for the first time. Drone as a service provider, fantastic. Based out of Chennai with a national presence in across 25 cities in India. He founded Ignite India, a revolutionary innovation ecosystem established in over 70,000 schools and colleges across India. He also created the first ever reality TV show, Big Genius, on the theme of 17 SDGs. He is winner of numerous accolades, most notably consecutive presidential awards 2015-16. Recently, he was the first Indian to win Outstanding Youth Award at the United Nations Youth Assembly 2017. Mr. Jaiprakash, please.
Good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies. Thank you so much for this honor, immense honor. And it's been quite a very exciting as well as informative session so far. So I would initially like to thank the ESSCI, the National Skill Development Corporation, Skilling India, and all the amazing keynote speakers who I've been able to listen and observe and also learn from. I really admire Lieutenant Commander John Livingstone. I've been following his work for a while. And also thank you, Mr. Menon, Mr. Dr. Rai, as well as P.K. Das, sir, for the immense honor. And of course, Mr. Piyush Chakraborty, sir, for moderating and also bringing, it might sound a little cliched, but such innovative conferences and, such webinars being organized during a pandemic, during a lockdown, and ensuring that everybody is involved, presenting such an opportunity for youngsters to take part in it. We keep talking about the bridging the gap between the industry as well as academia. And I think it is up to organizations like ESSCI and other industry bodies to do that, to act as the bridge between industry and academia, because ultimately with a huge resource like youth in India, like my idol and my mentor, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir, said that youth is the biggest resource that India has, and we aren't doing justice to leverage the largest youth population in the world. And we still have unbelievable amount of unemployment, most of our youngsters who are graduating out of college are unemployable due to the lack of skills that they pursue. And one of the problems which I had felt prior to me founding Garuda Aerospace was the inherent lapses and attention that and the flaws that our education system had in terms of just glorifying memorizing and reproducing content rather than actually learning and implementing skills that was important for your life, and as well as where the industry is going towards. There might be a little bit of fundamental studies that might be required, but the world is way different than the Pelton wheel, which is even till date what most of our engineering students are studying, which is completely irrelevant. So, with that being said, I'd like to introduce myself. Yes, as Agnishwar, I was a former Asian gold medalist for our country. I've served the nation for 10 years. And after finishing up my swimming career, I graduated out of the Harvard Business School. I've worked with the United Nations and worked extensively there, understanding the sustainable development goals and trying to implement them in India, trying to create awareness. And that is how I founded Garuda Aerospace. And we've discussed a lot, and we've had amazing speakers shed light on how drones are going to be the future. So I don't have to reiterate those points. But what I would like to say, and what we have been trying to do as a company over the last 4 years, and especially over the last year, is realizing that drones are not very affordable. Most drones are not affordable. And as the use cases of the drones transcend into beyond the usual just a marriage photography or an event photography to complex use cases like, let's say, structural damage assessment, thermography, agriculture, spraying, carrying heavy payloads, and all of those things, it's very fundamental facts that as the weight goes up, the prices of the drones increase. So most of the applications that we use today are not affordable, even for big companies where they don't want to invest in capital expenses, which is why we wanted to develop the drones as a service model, because we felt that capex is going to be a huge issue. And not only that, the awareness of utilizing drones, the skill in terms of taking care of the drone, understanding all of its use cases, rather than just buying a drone and letting it rot in a government department or in a warehouse somewhere for even like big companies like Adani or Reliance or ITC or Godrej or any one of those big companies that we are currently working with for a lot of their Industry 4.0 revolutionary measures. I found that they find it a lot easier for them to go for a service. But of course, that comes with its own set of challenges. However, over the last year, we really shot to prominence when the government reached out to us for our agricultural drone, which was used for COVID sanitization and then later on to the locust attacks. And today, we are the largest owners of the largest agri drone fleet owners, and we have worked with projects with ITC, with Reliance Foundation, with several FPO FPCs, despite the farmer protest that has been going on. Our goal ultimately is to ensure, coming back to the fundamental reason why this conference is taking place, is to ensure that employment opportunities for 5 lakh youngsters are created all across India, and through utilizing drones as a vector for creating that change. Because we keep hearing the jargons of artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, analytics, and all of those things. But today, with the amount of projects that are out there, and drones has easily taken forefront in that technology. And if you look at how drones is as a market today, you can compare it to how e-commerce was in 2009 and 10, how your food delivery was in 2014-15, and how even Byju's was in 2018-19, prior to when a pandemic forced the entire of the youth population to resort to online education. So just to conclude, in the interest of time, I feel that what we have been doing at Garuda Aerospace is exploring plenty of new frontiers. We are into 10 diverse service fields, including forest mapping, industrial applications, agriculture, very extensively. And what we have always understood is that drones in the next 4 to 5 years could become one of the prime industries that India as a whole can rally behind, in the vision of creating the $1 trillion economy that our finance ministry has been speaking about. And I feel that one of the key most important factors in that pursuit, and if we must accomplish that, and if we must employ our youths and skill them, I think it is the duty and responsibility of everybody in this panel, as well as the participants, as well as the ESSR, and as well as the Skill Development Corporation of India, to ensure that we genuinely act as a bridge between industry and academia, rally behind a lot of universities to set up centers of excellence. And I feel that we must up the ante, so to speak, just like the Ministry of Civil Aviation and the DGCA has stepped up over the last year in announcing their exclusive directorate. They have a Garud platform. A lot of things have changed, and I think Ramba Dubey has been doing a phenomenal job in hastening a lot of approvals and such. So I think we are headed on the right track. And to be very honest, I'm very happy to collaborate with anybody and everybody who is interested to do so. And we are a pan-India company operating out of 26 different cities. So feel free to call me at any time and reach me out. I'm very accessible. And thank you again for the opportunity. Ready to answer any questions after the panel discussion.
Thank you very much, Jayaprakash. It was really nice your talk about Garuda Aerospace. I don't know because there is a Garuda Airlines also, Indonesian Airlines.
Yeah, sir.
So it is the same as Garuda Aerospace. I thought some Indonesian company.
If the drone industry keeps growing at the pace at which it is, we might acquire the airlines in the next 2 to 3 years.
Wow, great! That is great, really. You in your this thing, I learned that you are doing something with 70,000 schools and colleges.
Yes, sir. So
what exactly you are doing?
So Ignite India is basically a youth innovation platform which focuses on innovation and entrepreneurship as a method of learning rather than just like it's how Fiji is for IIT. It's a pathway. It's a pathway program to become an IITian, right? So if you want to become an innovator or an entrepreneur, there is no innovation programs. You don't learn entrepreneurship or innovation as a subject in schools, correct? So very similar to that, it is parallel educational system that we have created, and we have worked extensively with the government of Tamil Nadu, our partner, BBC, the United Nations, as well as Discovery Education in that pursuit. And over the last 6 years, it was actually mentored by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And we host a lot of innovation conferences, conclaves, summits. We have held over 600 innovation conferences so far in the last 5 years. And we rally behind schools to adopt this, where it's not a full-fledged, it's not a curriculum which you follow during school and you'll have to let go of your school. It's like a parallel education. It's like an extracurricular program that you're part of. It's completely free for students. They can be part of it. And in fact, Garuda Aerospace, the idea for this drone startup itself came from one of the students of Ignite. So that's how it started. That's our journey. We actually have around 300 startups that are being incubated, much like Garuda Aerospace, but not as prominent as what this company has been able to do over the last few years. But yes, that is what we're trying to do, sir. Introduce entrepreneurship, innovation, and skills from the school and early schools, early college level itself, so that it's not like you students who are like 22, 23, after they get a job, they get into entrepreneurship at 25, 26. I feel it's too late. If you need to learn about what it means to run a startup or understand the various nuances of being in entrepreneurship, you must learn it as much as you are learning algebra at 4 or 5. I mean, sorry, 4th or 5th standard, So yes, that's what we do.
Thank you. That's great, Jayaprakash. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now our next speaker is Mr. Jay Barua. So we are shifting from DAS to SaaS. Mr. Jay Barua is CEO of Triton Systems, a SaaS company, software as a service, headquartered in Tennessee. Triton mission is to make our world a cleaner, safer, and connected place to live in. To support this mission, they have created a software platform called Drona that will help solar energy environmental companies utilize modern technologies like drones and artificial intelligence machine learning to install and repair solar and energy power plants safely and efficiently across the world. Prior to Triton Systems, he had a well-balanced industry experience serving as a VP Director of Enterprise Data Warehouse and Business Intelligence at several global and startup companies in USA. So over to you, Mr. Jay Barua.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me, Mr. Piyush?
Yeah, you are audible.
All right, thank you. And thank you for inviting me to talk and present in this conference. This is really very exciting times for everybody. So Isha, if you can go to the second slide. So as Piyush mentioned, we are based in Tennessee, US. And obviously, I'm from Assam. So when Mr. P.K. Das invited me to participate in this conference, even though it's 2 o'clock in the morning here, I jumped at the opportunity. So thank you for inviting me. So we formed Triton Systems around 3 years ago. And based on my background, me and my co-founder, we were focusing on data and analytics. And we said, based on all the data we have from a system like Triton, how can we bring this into a digital economy? And if you see where India is heading, and there's a McKinsey report that by 2025, India will at least have more than 70 million engineers focusing on the electronics industry. And if we have a population of 1.2 billion people who are connected digitally, there's a tremendous opportunity for all of us to use technologies like drones, IoT, machine learning, and advanced analytics to help common people and, basically close the digital divide we are facing in India right now. So our focus right now is I really wanted to start small, everybody. So we are starting to partner with few folks in Assam to really use technologies like drones to help the common people, and how do you help in the power sector? How do you, in the vision of organization like Assam Power Development Corporation Limited, is to implement power in every village in Assam, and 25% of that power should come from solar. So how do you do all that? So that's really where our focus is right now. So can you go to the next slide, Isha? So basically, and I'll not spend too much time on our services or what we do, but essentially we are, like Pius mentioned, we have developed a software platform uh, to run, automate drone operations, but we have different skills like artificial intelligence, machine learning, image, a lot of things like Garuda mentioned in the earlier presentation. So we do site surveys, we do data, we also do maintenance, and we also partnering with a company in Assam to bring in the consultative experience in terms of solar surveys. So these are our basic services. Isha, can I go to the next slide, please? So there is, as the earlier slide 4, yes. So as you've seen, someone mentioned in drone is $1 trillion industry, right, all over the world, and countries like China, India are fast catching up with US in terms of the top 3 nations going to use drones in the next 10 to 15 years. But if you just look at microeconomics, floods alone in Assam is costing $1 billion damage every year, and Assam is having floods for the last 50 years. So how do we use technologies like drones to proactively, because the flood's going to come on Assam no matter what, right? The only way we can do is to minimize damage impacts because of floods. So how do you use technologies like drones to do pre-flood survey damage, and then when the floods hits us, how do you rearrange the federal response to floods? So that's one. And second thing I mentioned about energy companies like Assam Power Development Corporation, the Assam Electric Corporation, the Gas Corporation, the Power Corporation. How do these companies use technologies like drone to really cut cost on preventative maintenance as well as site preparation, right? So the main thing to remember here is drone is just a vehicle, right? It's a vehicle, but how do you use that vehicle to support the common needs? That's where the magic is. And in terms of the other areas where Northeast India can utilize technologies like drone is forest-based management, right? So Assam is now under 25% of Assam is under forest cover. So how do you do log management? How do you do? I don't think Assam has got too many forest fires like in California, but how do you do effective disaster management around forestry? So forestry, solar, and floods. I think these are the 3 areas I see that where we can use technologies like drone. Next slide, Isha. So we did a case study. One of my teams in Assam did a project with Assam Power Development Corporation Limited, and I'll share some pictures we have. But if you look at a typical power plant, a 75 megawatt plant or even lower, we can actually have a significant cost savings ranging from 75,000 rupees to 128,000 per megawatt. So that is per megawatt, right? So if you extrapolate that savings to gigawatts and even beyond that, and that's a huge saving just on site preparation. The other thing, if you look at solar plants, solar plants is very difficult to maintain, right? You have to send a human being on top of a solar panel. So that's an ideal use case for drones to really survey the damage before even the damage happening. So if you detect a small crack in a solar power plant, you can prevent what we call a primary part failure, and then you can do maintenance before the crack spreads to the entire solar array. So this was some certain use cases we can see in the solar industry. Next slide, please, Isha. So, like I mentioned, the other thing is like Assam is also a very humid place, like Mr. Das had mentioned. So there's a lot of vegetation. If you do a massive solar installation in Assam, there's a danger of vegetation spreading around solar panels. So how do you use solar image, the imagery from drones and concepts like AI, right? How do you do in AI? We have something called supervised learning, as most of you know. How do you use concepts like supervised learning to predict that this solar plant or this solar array will have damage sustained because of spreading vegetation? So you use modern concepts to help common problems. Next one. So this is we did a site survey in, I believe this is the DC office in Guwahati. And by the way, some of the roofs are metal roofs, right? It doesn't have to be a cement roof. It could be any roof. So this we did a survey in terms of, okay, if this is the roof in the DC office in Guwahati, what will it take for me to install a solar panel? So this is what we call site survey. Next slide, please. So based on this survey, we do an initial recommendation, right? So the maximum system recommended for this particular site is 20 kilowatts. Earlier slide. So this is the design layout, right? So see, so we're bringing not only the technology here, but we're also bringing in a very strong consultative background where we partner with solar companies saying, okay, just use drone as a vehicle, but the proof in the pudding is really the recommendation based out of the learnings from a drone-based system. So we're talking about recommended angles. How do you put solar panels in an optimal tilt angle? In this particular example, it was 20 degrees. And then what is the minimum spacing between solar panels? So we are really using the technology built into the AI model within our drone solution to provide such a consultative experience to the solar companies like APDCL. Next slide. So I won't go too much time on this, but this is really a high-level architecture overview of our platform. So our platform is, first of all, it's open source, so it can run on any drone, whether it's a DJI drone or drone created by the commander. So that's we designed it out of purpose. We wanted to make our software independent of drone hardware. So it's written in open source Python libraries. It also runs an AWS platform, so it's kind of cloud computing. And so everything is very integrated in a sense from an end-to-end perspective. And like I mentioned, we have a couple of, next slide, Isha. I'm going through it pretty quickly. But one of the key things we have done is in adding a solar AI module, we have also something called proximity to incident algorithm. As you see, we are in a gig economy in a country like India where we have 1.2 billion connected people because thanks to the Aadhaar program, where essentially every Indian will have a cell phone, right? So think of having a gig economy where we're going to train not 1 million, but potentially 50 million workers, 50 million drone operators. And they'll be going every city, every village in India, and they will have an application like ours on their cell phones. So whenever they have an opportunity to use drones, all they have to do is to buy the hardware from a store, scan it, and they are onboarded into our software platform, and then they can use drones. So a highly interoperable platform specifically designed for gig economy and specifically designed for a country like India, where we can leapfrog other countries in terms of technology because of its digital economy and also because of its wide connectivity we have experienced over the last 10 years. Next slide. So this is really the slide I want to talk the maximum amount of time I have is really the three things where we want to extend the vision of STPI, right? A, develop skilled manpower and assist in set up drones here in Northeast India. And I think Mr. Das mentioned that you folks are planning to have a center of excellence in Itanagar. And I think that's an excellent opportunity. And I had a background before I left for US for higher studies. I spent 2 years teaching computer science in engineering college in India. So this is a very noble mission to impart training, and especially in a state like Itanagar, where we have so much excited youth, and some of them on the call today. So how do you set up the drone COE in terms of curriculum development, setting up the lab, but also transferring technology from USA to India and vice versa? But really, the purpose of a COE is not to be looking inward, but also be looking outward. So there could be a situation where 5 years from now, solutions developed in Itanagar can be sold across the world. So that's the goal we have. And they're partnered with local drone hardware company. I'm so glad to see Commander having a hardware company, right? So it's very rare to see an Indian company is focusing on developing drones or manufacturing drones in India. It's always even in USA, we have companies like DJI, which is 95% of the drones are all made in China. So I'm very glad to see that Indian companies are manufacturing drone hardware. And then finally, partner with STPI to drive awareness of this technology. Like someone mentioned, there will be millions of applications written by software developers to run on drone platforms like ours, or even drone platforms like Garuda. So I'm really very bullish about this whole technology. And it's really very exciting times. It's a convergence of technology between digital economy, digital divide, and also because of connectivity. I think the drone technology is bound to take off in India. Thank you so much for your time. I really went through this very quickly, but please let me know if you have any questions. Piyush, you're on mute.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Mr. Jay. Your presentation, it was really nice presentation. In fact, I was going through that when you were presenting. In India, we not only consider the entry point, the price entry point, but also we look for how much we can save. And in one of your slides, it says that we can save around 75,000 to 1,28,000 per megawatt. I think you should come as soon as possible in India. We need you.
Oh, definitely. I'll probably making a trip sometime in May, and we'll touch base with you. As soon as I get the vaccine and they allow me to travel because of the COVID.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, before going to my next panelist, we have got a lot of questions, and I would like to just share some of the questions to all the panelists. I got one question. It is open to the panelists as well as to Mr. Praveer Kumar Das. I mean, if anybody can answer. It says that I am an ex-Indian Navy electrical branch sailor and would like to start a startup company for the manufacturing of drones in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Is there any financial help up to 90%, or I can bear 10% of the startup? Required guidance from all those who are in the connection with this project, sir. So can STPI or anybody can do something on this?
I have already answered that question by typing it in the chat, I guess. He already acknowledged also.
Okay, fine. I was not knowing that. Yeah. So anyway, I think we'll go to the next panelist, Dr. Gopi Krishna. Dr. Gopi Krishna is formed Essentia R&D Solution. He is the CEO of that company. He has got 20 years of robust IT industry experience. He is advisor for several startup companies. He is specialized in Industry 4.0 technologies, including drones, robotic, AI, ML, and IoT. Worked with clients from North America, Europe, Middle East, and Asia Pacific region. And Dr. Gopi Krishna has a passion for drones. So please, Dr. Gopi Krishna.
Thank you, Mr. Piyush. Very good evening, all. I just would like to start with a familiar comment. We all would be greeting everybody like on the dais and off the dais. Right now, this pandemic has started a new word. I greet all who are on my front desktop and who are off the desktop in the camera. Greetings to all. Pandemic has not only taught us to keep social distancing, but also it has taught a lot of lessons how electronics can efficiently be used across all verticals. So wonderful experience ahead, and thank you STPI, ESSCI, and Skill India for this wonderful opportunity. I'm going to talk a few words about the Center of Excellence, which we are proposing in accordation with ESSAI across India. Isha, can you share the presentation? A minute, dignitaries, please. Isha?
Just a sec, sir.
So, in the meanwhile, I would like to give some small insights about our whatever I have experienced in this drone sector. So in India, when we are still talking about security, cyber security, e-commerce projections.
Is it visible, sir?
Yeah, good. Yes. I hope it's visible for all of us.
It is visible.
Okay. So a couple of years back, or say 3 years back, or 4 years back, we were also we were all speaking about the cyber security emergence, e-commerce emergence, digital transactions, everything. And the same way, drone is now a very, very hot topic in India, especially. In India, yes, drones are making a fast penetration into the industry. At the same time, there is a huge lacuna of education also in drone sector of what to use, how to use, and when to use. We people who are specialized in this or subject matter experts are only a very, very negligible figure in this entire ecosystem, where there is a huge unorganized sector operating drones. So now the screen, what we see is the playground for us across the globe to fly a drone or to provide a service, anything. So we have different sectors which is defined as nano, micro, and macro drones, different drone technologies. Our national regulation department is only concentrating on macro level drones, which comes under the surveillance, registration, so on and so forth. But there are huge challenges of using a nano and micro drone, which does not comply into the compliance part actually in our country, where there are all misoperations, data theft, a lot of surveillance happening through that also. We hear a lot of news in the groups and so many Twitter messages. So, however, small UAS operations and safety events, for example, it is planning to collect additional data on safety events from UAS, that is unmanned aerial systems in the public sector also, which is not integrated into our DigiSky or into our compliance system. This is actually going to be a threat if we don't comply them into this policy making, because anything which flies above the ground should be monitored. And moving forward, while the small UAS is still not currently allowed for some applications, which is beyond the visual line of sight of the operator, and it's limited to the regulatory and restrictions of civilians airspace. The government must also take a peak view into this sector, how to control them also, because these drones are used for spraying, and also there are some drones which use some sensors or some kind of an activity to peek in the geo information, geofencing also, which is actually illegal in those CAD are actually like nanos and macros. Next, Isha. So taking into this, India requires a COE, even though government has regulations, policies, structures, everything. India requires a COE, starting from educating what is a drone till going into bigger, or what we say, bigger business use cases. Like we have already seen in few of our predecessors' presentation about the industrial usages. So we wanted to provide a platform where the policies, use cases, security aspects, everything comes into one platform, integrating all stakeholders into one platform of drone ecosystem, which is inevitable in near future. Because when we speak about the numbers and usages across India, might be few years later we should have eight tracks in the sky to drive the drones, one for inward, one for outward. That's how the usages are seen. Even in US, there are large parts where drones are flying in. I mean, India thinking at delivery system, thinking at aerial surveillance, looking at the agriculture sector, mechanical information or maintenance sector, surveillance. We'll be flying drones. Our sky will be filled with small mechanical birds. So we should also precisely have a traffic control system for the drones down the lane of maybe 5 to 6 years to know what is flying, where it is flying, and what it is doing. This is very, very important for us. And security for the entire system is very, very important again. When we have more than one flying in, security plays a major role because it's all sensitive data which we are working with. Next step, next one, Isha. So now looking at this industry on the COE, I want to give a big overview that it is not just a drone alone which we are talking about. There are big components attached to it, like in UAV technology, autonomous robots, simulation and prototyping. That's a different industry. Augmented reality, we were speaking about it. 3D printing and additive printing. 3D printing is an old word. Additive printing is something new technology which explains about the layers, a lot of complications. Research is happening into it. Composite particles printings are coming in 3D, which makes micro and nano drone manufacturing much more simpler. Integration process, e-integration process. Mr. Jai was also explaining about associating with different companies, giving a platform. So different business cases, different platform, different software plays a huge role in COE in offering that as one plate as a service to desired clients or to the government also. And for each and every service, there should be policies driven, and we have to play within it because it's very, very important for us. And cyber physical system, whenever you say data, cyber security plays a major role. It's inevitable. You have IoTs, big data, cloud computing. All these are a cohesive industry component which enables drone technology grow much more faster and in larger perspective. And taking into all these things, you have a huge scope of drone education sector in the COE, without which nothing is possible because India is actually growing up in technology. So educating specific group of people who are into this is very, very important. Of, say, for an example, education starts with do's and don'ts, first of all, and the policy and the regulations, then get into the subjects. So we say development of high level digital skills is very important when we talk about such high technology, because down the line we need users and also somebody who can access the information and give us the respective information what is required for each and every vertical. At the same time, learning has to be made fun. And didactic innovation, which we have to teach them what is required on specific role. Like Colonel was speaking about the drone pilot, that's a huge subject actually. So I could say there is an increasing demand in education sector of drone and also in these 8 different components which we see as key in this drone technology, which comes under COE. Isha, next. So we have seen about the industry sectors and now stakeholders. These are few important stakeholders like different service providers, drone operators, government and regulatory bodies, and drone manufacturers. These are the key players who will be representing the entire ecosystem by always. So many of us will come under manufacturing, drone operator, and service providers, and government should also constantly evaluate based on the usages, security threats or security patterns. It should basically evolve the policy around it and make a contingency planning and also make it easy for the operators to take to next level so that this ecosystem grows and business can also multiply and we provide a very good service for all the industries in affordable way, which one of our key speaker was mentioning about reducing the prices. And India is very, very, very important for this specific topic. So the next slide, please. So now, roughly to take in about what is it? Government programs are managing and growing, and they always have a shrinking budget. Even though we have, when it comes to business specific, there is always a shrinking budget. So what a center of excellence can do is it can help government and the stakeholders replace costly and inefficient ways of handling this into a better way. And this is most of this is aerial intelligence, which is a separate um, portfolio handling specific information, because there are different types of information gathering from drone. One is offline and online, and online has multiple drones integrated to it. We can capture the information and seamlessly process it and give the desired output. So this is something which COE has to closely work in India. And the data models and capture we capture a lot of information. I don't say about it, but how is it stored or maintained? Do we have a proper platform? And how the decision making is happening out of it? This is also a major part here. We can fly a drone, we can capture the information, but how it is offered and for what purpose it is offered, that is very, very important. When we talk about all these bulk informations or data, security platform is very, very important that it is integrated and that it is stored properly with relevant securities which government says, and also with international standards. Because when we talk about international players, COE as an excellence center, international players will be coming in. Government will take a lot of data from this because it's completely the Indian border, Indian environment. And when it comes to Northeast, yes, it's very, very critical and volatile. So we have to concentrate this as a higher priority in center of excellence. And I hope all these things constitute to everybody, and nobody is delimited from any of this topic. Next one, Isha. So so far we have been discussing about this and how do we offer it in the COE is a collaborative and consultative approach. We don't say that this I provide, this is not possible. So we need to have an ecosystem. We need to have group of people. We need to have subject matter experts with the platform, with the service providers and the platform, which has to be handshake. So this group offers a consultative services, strategy, documentation, certification, hardware and software, and in-house developed solutions, and solutions mostly as services, not as a capex model, which is very, very important. We can even work with the Air Force, Army, Navy, Border Security Force, because aerial intelligence is very, very important. We don't just call it as information. We specifically coin it as aerial intelligence. This is a baseline of it. Conduct facility condition assessments for each and every operator so that it's all properly maintained. Right now, you see about food regulation is booming up in India. Standards are booming up for software. So when we are talking about such a sensitive issue, facility condition assessment is very, very important, which has to be monitored from the day one. And providing on-demand support at non-reachable space, especially this is very, very important Northeast. Even I traveled a few weeks back to Himachal Pradesh, where in one of the places of Shimla it is snowing up. So there drones plays a major role in monitoring the transport road sections. Apart from this, aerial survey, geographical information survey, and you have asset collation in northeastern India for the electricity board, maintenance, waters and dam monitoring surveillance, and industrial surveillance, which is all very, very critical actually in northeastern parts because it's mostly hilly region, not an easy plain where anybody can easily travel. So we talk about in Northeast specific departments which are critical is defense, planning and infrastructure. The Northeastern state would like to expand its power, probably we were speaking about in the previous session. So drones play a major role in GIS, in asset collation, in monitoring where it is feasible to deploy. So there is a lot which can be done. And internal security in the border force, because we are always in the brim of war with neighboring hoods, which we all see every day in the news in northeastern part actually. And State Department of Transportation, which is very, very important, because in hilly regions in India, we always, in any part, we always see landslides at abnormal times, and that time rescue or monitoring or post-disaster management plays a major role.
Can you a little bit fast, please?
Yes, a couple of more things only, please. And we also should be flexible. Isha, next slide, please. We should be flexible and comprehensive in the services of emerging technology by keeping complex emerging technologies in the center of excellence, which can be offered as a service where complex services are given at ease of reach for the takers in the industry without complicating their usage patterns. A team of experts are available with us, starting from the education till the deployment. We also did excellent services for Tamil Nadu Horticulture Department during the pandemic, and also before in 2019, where we had 3 lakh hectares which was vanished by fall army worm. So we were the company who supported them and gave them 75% result in over 15 days to come out of this problem, and we saved several thousand hectares of land from this fall army worm. So we designed the drones mechanically with a short time. So we provide one platform and AI based for decision making, immersive decision support, and remote sensing with our technologies. So next slide, Isha. Isha, next slide. So we are already speaking about a lot about the government applications for which it can be shared. Drones can be used like infrastructure, energy, emergency management, where one of the speaker was telling about transporting the vaccines in the remote places. Yes, construction and environment management. So these are some of the insights which can be given in that short time as preamble for COE, which we are planning to work with ESSCI and also like-minded partners who can help us to implement such a wonderful platform for India to grow India. And I hope I've conveyed a grasp of what is the importance of COE, which we are planning, and this is mostly towards the Northeast. Thank you so much. I welcome if you have any.
Dr. Gopi Krishna, thank you very much. In fact, a lot of agriculture universities, they have shown interest. They want to set up a COE in their university for the agricultural students. And definitely I would let you know. Thank you very much. In fact, let me go to my next speaker, Mr. Anirudh. Mr. Anirudh Saran Singh is basically IRS officer from 2009 batch. His postgraduate diploma in finance and management from Goa Institute of Finance and Management. And he was a part of the team that set up CPC, Central Processing Center in Bangalore for IT department. He was a business analyst for Cognizant Technology Solution for 2.5 years. He formerly implemented, in Arunachal, he has implemented GST and GST network in last 2.5 years. He is doing excise administration online. And now he is going to talk about drones that will be utilized in Northeast, Arunachal Pradesh. Mr. Anirudh, please.
Am I audible, Mr. Piyush?
Yeah, you are audible, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank Shri Omkar Rai ji, Shri PK Das ji, and ESSCI for this initiative of this talk today. And I also want to thank STPI for choosing our Itanagar as the first destination for their Center of Excellence in Emerging Technologies. It is going to help the state immensely. Basically, my experience in Northeast has shown that We have very critical and special needs. Our roads and our surface transport infrastructure is not quite up to the mark, largely because of the terrain. The soil profile is such that even if assets are created, they don't stay for many years. Road gets deteriorated and communication gets cut. In such a scenario, drones can be very, very helpful and effective to deliver services and goods to citizens and ensure last mile connectivity. A lot of other speakers have spoken on these lines, so I will not repeat what they have said. The benefits of drones are known to all. I would want to assure STPI on behalf of my government that we would give it all support, all handholding, and we will try and leverage it to the best of our capabilities, their center to the best of our capabilities. And we will ensure that the benefit of the center that STPI is going to put up in Itanagar reaches the right set of beneficiaries. From Northeast, I would want to tell that we are sparsely populated. Our population pockets are distant from each other. Therefore, an effective means such as drones would help us reach out to these small pockets of people residing in remote corners. I would give you an example. There is a place in Arunachal Pradesh which for the last 70 years has not been connected by road. There are around 4,000 people staying there. Even basic things are sent either by foot or on animal back, or a Chinook helicopter carries it sometimes. So if we have something like some technology which Lieutenant Commander Livingstone was showing, we could use it to deliver critical services and goods to those people. And there are several such pockets. So yes, we are majorly interested in this. We are excited that STPI has chosen us as a destination for their center of excellence. And the Octane program, which Mr. Das spoke about, sounds immensely beneficial. I am sure that people in our state would participate and get benefited. And this is my short message to all. And if there are any questions, I would be more than happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anirudh. Basically, what I would like to know, for example, Arunachal, I think by far has the most difficult terrain in among all the Northeast region. So
That's
how
correct.
do you think that the drone thing will help in the services, different services? Will it be, for example, any service, if you have a difficult terrain, it is difficult to start. So how you feel that this on the difficult terrain, the drone will be helpful?
So the drone services essentially make terrain a non-variable in the entire exercise. So let's say, and we take up an example which some earlier speaker had spoken about: delivery of vaccines, COVID vaccines. Drones can be used to deliver these COVID vaccines. They can be used to deliver tests. They can get these test sample back. So if a person takes these vaccines to the remote corner, it would take days for the vaccine to reach there. With the help of drones, I think we can deliver them in hours. So this is just one example. There can be several such examples. So terrain does play a major role here, and we talk in number of days, not in number of hours, when we are trying to deliver goods and services to people. That can be largely shortened and made more effective and efficient and more accountable as well.
In fact, Mr. Piyush,
yeah,
if I am allowed to add it, the whole purpose of the Center of Excellence is to do the matchmaking between the user and the provider, right? For us, the user are the stakeholders who has a problem, and the startups are entrepreneurs are the solution providers for solving that problem. Now, it's a huge statement on the part of Mr. Anirudh saying that the government is desirous of providing equal support and services to those 4,000 and maybe there are other pockets of 4,000, 5,000 people. So once they are having difficulty in providing any kind of services, but they want to provide all kind of services, you see the gap. Now, this gap is enough for an entrepreneur to start his brainstorming. What are the services he wants to provide, and what are the technologies and tools he would like to provide? So it's a fantastic opportunity.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Now I'll go back to my last but not the least panelist, Neetaji. And she is basically founder, CEO, Inferigence Quotient LLP, scientist G, DRDO, senior member, IEEE, 30 years of system-wide experience on manned and unmanned aircraft system, including group autonomy, software system and engineering, UAV mission systems, ground operating system and ground support system, UAV payload data processing, multi-sensor data fusion and computer vision. Over to you, Neetaji.
Thank you very much, Mr. Piyush. And so, yeah, I'll just add my bit to it, which I believe very strongly in. I'm not going to talk about my company right now because the work in my company is relatively much lesser compared to what I have done in DRDO and as part of Tata Advanced Systems, where I was part of the UAV mission systems and group autonomy. So whatever are my experiences and what I feel is lacking today very seriously, what will be a bottleneck for the future, that is what I want to talk about. All the respected keynote speakers, panelists, the Mr. Piyush, who's the moderator, and all the audience, extremely happy to be part of this session. I thought I would also summarize what others have told, but I think in the interest of time, let me quickly go to what I want to talk about. So yesterday, the northeastern states are called Seven Sisters. So I was wondering, I thought there were 8, and then I did a bit of Google around, and I don't know why Sikkim is missed out from that Seven Sisters part. So I have quickly now changed it to 8 census for the 8 states.
Ma'am, it is 7 sisters and 1 brother.
Oh, okay. Sure. So that's why I did not say sisters here. I wanted to be politically correct. Okay, can we go to the next slide, Isha? Okay, so I strongly believe, and I'm sure you all would agree with me, that drones are largely meant to sense. Currently, majority of drones are primarily just collecting data. And this is not true just for drones, it's true for any surveillance system. So for example, when the London bus bomb blasts had happened, it seems it took them months to figure out, to sift through all that data, all the surveillance camera videos to figure out who were the culprits. So like some operators today in drones are operator in the loop, where the operator sees the video on the GCS and then takes some action. Some others are based on manual post processing of data, which is even more time consuming and error prone. And it's increasing, like even in the Army and the Air Force and Navy, for Lieutenant Commander John will agree with me that so much of data is being generated. The videos, they fly every day, almost every day. And some of the UAVs are capable of flying 24 hours. So you imagine that each flight generating 24 hours of videos, IR, DTV, SAR images, everything. And who has the time to go through all of the data? It's very easy to miss. So it's increasingly getting beyond human capacity to process. And many operations are time sensitive. If you lose the time, it's not just that you may lose a battle, but even you may not even survive. So the time from sense to act is very, very crucial. So what we need is efficient sensors, intelligent processing. It's not just desirable, it's even essential. And sensors and AI can enable the application. So they are enabling efficient operations of what were earlier inefficient, but they are enabling applications which humanly were not even possible before. Can we go to the next one? So I have seen, I did a little bit of read up. Unfortunately, I have not been there. So what Mr. Anirudh told was a real eye opener, that we stay in Bangalore and use the nice, of course, there are traffic issues, but still its connectivity is not such a big problem. So for us to imagine the ground situation there is a little hard. But I've seen that they're already making some good effective utilization of drones, and also creating a lot of awareness among school students, college students, etc. Now, as we saw in the previous panel discussions and the keynote speakers, that terrain and forest covers, these will present many challenges, and with challenges come opportunities. So right now what we spoke about, that we will send drones, we will deliver medicines, etc., is good. What will be required as the next step is that we not just send medicines or any supplies, but also ensure that it is reaching the correct person. How do we ensure that it is not misused? How do we ensure that somebody else who is not authorized is catching hold of that? So for all of that, we will need sensors, good sensors, and we need to manufacture them in India. Unfortunately, we are not very good at sensors manufacturing. And we also need to do efficient, timely sensor data processing. So many applications which are also possible under forest cover. For example, you want to just do a data collection or some study on the flora, fauna, everything. However, the moment you send drones inside a forest cover, you lose GPS signal, you lose data link line of sight. I'm talking of radio line of sight here. So you cannot effectively get video and an operator sitting and processing it. You need autonomy. You need to program the drones accordingly. So that presents the opportunity for novel sensors, support electronics, intelligent onboard processing, and also low size, weight, and power sensors. Because if sensors start dominating the weight budget and the power budget of drones, your payload carrying capacity, endurance, everything will come down. So it's very essential that we have efficient and low swap sensors and compute capability. Can we go to the next one? So vision has been slightly more advanced compared to other sensors. We have cameras, we have very good stereo AI, so depth AI. OpenCV consortium has released one stereo camera with very good depth AI capability. We need, if you're flying in forest, you want to avoid trees, you can't do a waypoint programming to go through the trees, because then you'll need a map of all those trees and so on. So obstacle avoidance, tracking, classification, situational awareness, you need lots of it from vision sensors. Then of course there are audio sensors which can hear voice commands. They can do speech recognition if somebody is talking, and maybe if they sense some sensitive conversation, they can send alerts. Bird chirping classification if somebody is interested in bird studies. Gunshot detection. So this scatter graph that I'm showing and the corresponding picture, they were actually installed on some of our UAVs. They were from a Netherlands-based company, and they were very good at localizing gunshots. So we can make use of these sensors. We can develop these sensors indigenously. Go to the next one. So this again is not science fiction. There's quite a bit of work has already happened in it. I have been part of two major MAV programs in India. One was Sigma, which is an aeronautical R&D board. I was convener of that for 5 years, and we used to invite projects from various academic institutes and R&D centers. One of the projects from National Aerospace Laboratory, NAL, was this olfactory sensor. They had developed a biological nose. It could smell certain specific chemicals. And in case of chemical warfare, etc., when humans are risky to send, we can send drones. They can sense whether there is any risky chemical somewhere and take appropriate action. Likewise for taste, no, even electronic tongue has been developed. I'm not sure of the state of the art in India, but elsewhere there certainly quite advanced work is happening in this area. Again, you can check whether specific chemicals are present or not. They may take a long time to reach human capability, but they may be very well enough for, in the case of chemical warfare, etc. Similarly, touch or tactile sensors. If you want to deliver delicate elements, either you need to pack them in some box where the weight and size and everything increases. Alternately, if you have very good holding mechanism, which can just about have a good grip, but not break the material, that would be really good for delivery at a low swap. Yeah, we'll go to next one. So these were the 5 senses which, as humans, we say that we have got these 5 senses. Of course, humans are also good at spatial awareness, what's happening around us. And that's an additional sense which a UAV also must have. So there are lots of signal processing, multi-sensor data fusion technologies which come here. And there are lots of aiding sensors, for example, LiDARs and radars, or even sonar to some extent. They can help us sense the height above terrain. So if you want to maintain 10-meter above terrain all the time for whatever reasons, then these are ranging sensors which can help you do that. Of course, all the UAVs come with accelerometers, gyroscopes, and magnetometers, but they are all very inaccurate. These small UAVs, they are MEMS sensors, and hence their accuracy is bad. So you need very good sensor data processing for filtering out the noise. Timestamp is extremely crucial because you want to ensure that all the sensors data, what you're dealing with, is sampled at the exact same time. And you want to correlate them and draw inference out of that. And of course, balance. So no, when you want to do agile maneuvers, because you want to, let's say, go through gap between 2 trees, you want to maybe flip over and go. Professor Vijay Kumar of Penn State is doing extremely good work on some of these things. So there you need to have a very good sense of balance, and your flight control needs to take care of that. Yeah, we'll go to the next one. So from all these sensors, the needs and opportunities. So I know that it's a little far-fetched. We are not technically very advanced right now, but this will very soon hit us. And these are all complex technologies, they take a lot of time. So if we don't act today, we will be left very, very far behind. So my submission to ESSCI as well as to STPI is that let's not ignore sensors altogether. Let's not ignore. So by the way, if we talk of statistics, I get every day like hundreds of resumes. Everybody has done Coursera, Andrew NG, computer vision, machine learning course. But when I talk to them, they have no clue to what they're talking about. They've just attended it. So the quality is very bad. Quantity is lots, but quality is really bad. And they do not have any idea of what is the real application for some of these things. So if we can take these people, we can give them a focused training that how these sensors can be exploited, how sensor fusion can be done, how computer vision can help do certain tasks for drones. I think that will be a very, very good thing to do. And it will help us bridge a very critical gap. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years from now, it's certainly going to hit us otherwise. So essentially here, summary is that we need low swap sensors, size, weight, and power. Low size, weight, and power onboard computers because these are all computationally very, very expensive things. I'm sure Mr. Jay will agree with me that no, you need GPU power and so on to do a good machine learning computer vision algorithm. So we need very low size, weight, and power so that we don't have to compromise on our payload carrying capacity and endurance, as I told about. Certainly, we need accuracy, precision, resolution, depending on the application. Yeah, I think this must be my last slide. Yeah. So thank you very much for listening in.
Thank you very much, Geeta. I think it was a brilliant presentation and definitely an eye-opener. I thank all the panelists for the wonderful discussions. The deliberation made have been an eye-opener, and we are sure as we move ahead, there is going to be a huge ecosystem built around drones, and a large skilled force would be required to sustain it. We at ESSEI are committed to this vision and are readying ourselves for meeting the future challenges of skills and manpower. We have a couple of questions also through the chat, but I was going through that. Most of them have been answered. Let me just have a look at it. If there is any, I will. One is I am working on the concept to provide drones to farmers at subsidized rates for spraying. Is there any government program available through which it can be linked? Anybody wants to take it?
I think there are a lot of schemes from the POSA Agriculture Ministry where they have in fact set out some fund already for drone startups for agriculture, specifically to aim at helping farmers. So I think if they just Google enough itself, that would be helpful. Power supply. So there are something of that sort.
Piyush?
Yeah.
I would like to add a point, and the specific question is, since we have already experienced a few things on drone for agriculture, in India, most of the drones what we use in agricultural spray is a standardized one, which is inefficient, which is for that purpose. So before stepping into this, the specific farmer must know what is his crop, what kind of a drone is required. Somebody has to validate it before using it or spending the fund for it. So this is very, very important before checking on the funds are available or not. No, same drone cannot fly on a maize or on a coconut tree. There is a huge difference, and for the purpose. So this is very, very important. In India, we are misusing the drones for same drone for different purpose, which is actually waste of money and time.
Thank you, Dr. Gopi Krishna. Let me go for another one. One question is there, sir, and respected dignitaries, I would like to know whether the drones COE will cover land and water drones also. Mr. Das.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when we are talking about applications of drone, we are looking at products and services for any use of drone. So definitely there is no boundary.
Okay, thank you very much. And I don't have any more questions. And as they say, all good things must come to an end. I call upon my colleague, Mr. Varun, to offer his vote of thanks. Varun, please.
Yeah. Good evening to all, and thank you, Piyush sir. So I'll start with a brief. First of all, thanks to all the members, all the key speakers, and starting from Dr. Omkar Rai sir, Director General at STPI. It was really an enlightful and a knowledgeable thought of word from you, sir. And I'm sure all the audience, including all the members, have got a lot of info what STPI is doing and what new projects we are working on, and for the youth, what new projects they can take up. Then PK Das sir, thank you sir for your time, and it was a very short notice. You accepted our invite, and we really are obliged to have you as one of our keynote speak, and we look forward for the longer partnership with STPI. Uh, John Livingstone sir, we already had a lot of interaction before as well on other platforms. So thank you so much, sir, again giving your such a insightful thoughts and what new work or what new application drone can now build, and really have a nice interaction with you.
Thank you.
And starting from all the panelists that we have today, Agneshwar sir, Jay sir, Anirudh sir, Neeta ma'am, and Gopi Krishna sir. It was really a very important thing to discuss at this point, what application, because disaster management, like which currently we all have faced, and how drone has helped us in this time of pandemic. So it was really nice, and we really look forward for partnering with each one of you as the subject matter expert as well as a knowledge partner, so that what we really need in terms of skilling in India, what we are born to, making India as a skill capital of the world by taking this opportunity and having each one of you as the subject matter expert. So we really thankful to each one of you for sharing your thoughts, and I'm sure all the audience have got a lot of info, including the members of ESCCI as well. Then I want to thank from the ESCCI side our CEO sir, PVG Menon sir. It's a new type of a program that we have started, this webinar, and every month we're gonna have this type of webinar, and it's really important for us, so that it keeps us updated with the latest technology and with the latest trend that is currently prevailing in the country, and it really helps us in knowing and delivering what exactly is the need of the hour. So thank you, sir. And last but not the least, I want to thank Piyush sir for moderating this panel discussion so nicely. And even we were discussing just before this panel discussion, like drone is really in need, and we really want to pull up because it can really help us. So thank you, Piyush sir. And yeah, and to all the ESCCI team members, Karishma, Isha, and to the technical team of ESCCI, and bridging up is all this gap, and to all the panelists. So we look forward to more of your participations in the upcoming webinar. Next webinar we are planning to host on 12th of January, and it would be on mechatronics. And likewise, we have a series of webinar lined up for you all people, and that gonna be published on our website as well. So I request all of you to go to our website, and you can log in and you can check the series of webinar that we have planned. Technology wise, we're gonna have each one of it, and we really look forward for your active participation like we have today. So thank you all of you, and God bless you all.